Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video because as I was coming up with some video ideas this week, I realized that I have some brands that I feel like are not mentioned enough on YouTube. I feel like they deserve way more attention. So I actually created a list of like 15 or 20 brands that I felt like deserve way more attention, especially in the social media space, especially here on YouTube. And I initially was going to go category by category and just pick one product from each brand that I had come up with to create a full look. But as I was going through the brands, I realized that there were so many products within each brand that I love so much that I could not just narrow it down to one category per brand. Plus, I felt like that might be overwhelming for you guys, so I narrowed it down to 5 brands for this video. I feel like I could definitely do a part 2, maybe even a part 3 of this video, showcasing some brands that I really feel like deserve way more attention, that are so top-notch quality. You guys have heard me personally talk about them quite a bit, but I wanted to reiterate some of these brands that I love so much and give them another shout out because I really feel like it's important for me, especially as I try out so many different brands and so many different products out there, to really make sure that I'm mentioning the brands that might be a little bit smaller that deserve just as much attention as some of those big box brands. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna do my eyes first. One of the brands that I wanted to showcase, which again, you guys probably know how much I personally love this brand, but I feel like everybody needs to try it. If you haven't, should be used more in everybody's everyday routine. It's Thrive Cosmetics. I love this brand so much. My love for this brand definitely started with like the quality of their products, of course, first, but then also their mission to give back when you buy their makeup. And it's been a couple of years now since I started using Thrive Cosmetics, and it's led me to have a really good relationship with the creator of the brand, Carissa Bodnar. I love her so much, and I admire her so much as a person. I just feel like Thrive Cosmetics does so much good in this world. I've been able to like go to some of their giving events and things like that, and it's just one of those brands where I feel like your money is well spent. You know, you buy a product from them, you're giving to a woman in need in that process, and then also it's owned by an amazing person and she has an amazing team as well. So I really feel like more people should be talking about them, especially on social media. I do know of several influencers who do talk about Thrive Cosmetics, but in my opinion, it needs to be talked about more. By the way, this is the Thrive Cosmetics Infinity Waterproof Eyebrow Liner in the shade Audrey. It's one of the best brow products that I own. So I'm just starting off by filling the brows. Since we are doing the eyeshadow first, I want to make sure that I have a pretty good idea of my brow shape before going into eyeshadow. By the way, even though I narrowed down the brands in this video, there are still so many products from each brand that I'm going to mention that I love so much. So if you guys find that you're gravitating toward a certain brand that I'm mentioning, let me know, and I would love to do something like a full face of that specific brand, because again, I feel like it's a really good way for me and for you to see the potential of the brand or what they're capable of. So yeah, just keep that in mind throughout. I'm going to go ahead and use the Thrive Cosmetics Eye Lift 360 Waterproof Primer. I'm going to go ahead and apply that all over the lids, and I'm actually going to use my fingers to blend this out. And I'm just going to give that primer about 30 seconds to set. It's a little bit more of like an emollient primer when you first apply it, so it does need a minute to kind of dry down. While we're waiting for the eyeshadow primer to dry, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes from a brand that I feel like needs more attention. Obviously, that's the theme of this video. You guys have probably heard me talk about this brand, but again, I think they're some of the best eyeshadow palettes out there. This is from the brand Knobloch Cosmetics. It's an Italian brand, and they make such high quality products, you guys. Also, their color stories are so inspiring, and every single one of their eyeshadow palettes that they launch, I get so inspired. This is their newest full palette. This is the Dreamy 2 Mystic palette. They just launched some other cutie eyeshadow palettes, which I think I just received in PR, and I'm so excited to unbox those. But I'm going to be using that palette along with the original Dreamy palette. They have so many eyeshadow palettes. I love every single one. Their eyeshadow formulas are beautiful, and again, the color stories are something that always inspire me. So I'm going to be hopping back and forth between these two palettes, I think. I might throw in another eyeshadow palette just depending on the direction of this look, but I'm mainly going to stick to Knobloch. And I love how these are like sister palettes. So you'll see this one's kind of more of a daytime palette, and this one's more evening and more glam, but they do have very similar tones, which I love. I feel like I would wear every single one of these colors, which is also great when looking for an eyeshadow palette, because I feel like so often there's eyeshadow palettes out there where you only use a couple of shades, you know? But that's not the case with Knobloch. I dip into seriously every single one. Okay, I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I think I'm going to dip into Dreamy 2. I'm going to take Pantheon. I think that's how you say that. And I'm going to start actually applying this up against the brow. I want to create a little bit of a clean line up against the brow using this shade. So I'm just going to buff that all along the brow area right here. Next, I'm going to dip into Deja Vu in the same palette. I'm still trying to figure out what direction I want to go with this eye look. So I'm just going to start off with like a pretty basic transition shade, and then we'll decide what to do after that. But I'm just taking this and blending it through the crease and then up and out to meet that kind of ivory shade that we applied first underneath the brow. I'm trying to decide if I want to go more red or more purple blue. What if we tried like blue and red? I don't think I've ever done that combo. I'm gonna give it a whirl. We'll see how this goes. I'm sticking to that same Dreamy 2 palette, and I'm gonna dip into this shade right here called New Past. And I'm gonna start to build that up on the outer corner of the eye, up against the lash line. And then once there's less product on the brush, I'm gonna take it into the crease a little bit and then blend it up and out. Same thing on this eye. I think I want a pretty intense eye look today. I just feel like really playing with makeup. It's funny because I'm filming this late at night. I'm literally in my pajamas still, but I feel like doing something super glam. That's just the vibe while we're at home, isn't it? None of us are going anywhere, but it doesn't mean we can't look like we're gonna go somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna stick to that palette still and go into this shade right here called Dionysus, which is such a unique formula. It's like a super creamy, maybe I would describe it as like a cream to powder formula. It has a really beautiful finish to it. I'm just gonna layer that actually right on top of where we just applied that brown, just to intensify the definition, but to add a bit of that burgundy into the mix. I have no idea if this is gonna look good or not, but I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna take this shade called REM. It's a beautiful glittery shade. It has a bluish purple base to it, and I'm wanting to apply this kind of all over the lid. So I'm gonna go ahead and start packing this on the inner portion of the lid and then blending it into that burgundy shade. And it might take me a second to really build this up, but that's okay. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I'm making sure that most of the pigment is focused up against that lash line so that when I open my eyes, you get a really nice, what's the word? You get a nice view of the glitter, I guess is what I'm trying to say. As I move out toward the edge, I'm taking less and less product and kind of tapping it over everything. I'm actually bringing it out pretty far on this outer portion here, but again, the intensity needs to stay in the inner portion just to keep a good dimension. Wow, I'm really into this combo actually. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this eye. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm obsessed with this combo. Let's see, I'm gonna move into an eyeliner. I think I wanna use this one from Thrive Cosmetics. It's called Juliana, I think is how you say it. And it's a really beautiful deep purple. I feel like that's gonna look really nice. So I'm gonna line the lash line with this, focusing on just the outer portion of the lash line. So literally starting from about halfway across the eye, and then just smudging it out toward the edge. I'm not being too precise with this because I'm gonna go over it with an eyeshadow. So pretty, oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and go into Offline in that same palette. It's funny actually, I'm not dipping into Dreamy 1 or the original Dreamy palette. I thought I would, but I'm actually so into how this is turning out. I'm just rolling with it. So I'm just gonna take that and kind of create a little bit of a smoky wing with that deep purple shade over top of the liner just to make sure that it lasts a really long time. Not that I need my eye makeup to last tonight, but you know, if you're following this tutorial after I post it sometime and you want it to wear longer than just a few hours, it's a great way to make your eyeliner last is to set it with eyeshadow. I'm going back in with the brush that we used with Deja Vu in that same palette. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of that and just make sure that the edges are super blended, and I actually feel like I can take the color up a little higher than where I initially had it. So that's what I'm gonna do, just lightly blend that shade a little bit higher. Okay, we're gonna hop into mascara. I'm gonna be using the Knobloch Cosmetics Major Pleasure Mascara. It's one of my very favorites for bold looks especially. I feel like it gives me extremely false looking lashes. You guys already know how much I love the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. So I thought I would give that a shout out too, and I'll have that link down below. But for this look on the top lashes, I felt like this Knobloch mascara would give the effect that I want. I'm gonna layer this up quite a bit. I want it to literally look like I'm wearing false lashes. I'm seriously so in love with this mascara. It gives me like the biggest, velvetiest lashes, and I can layer it up like no other. Ugh, it's so good. Before I move on from this palette, I'm actually gonna take the shade Lucid Dream, and I'm gonna put a little bit of that in the inner corner Just because it is a little bit more of a glittery shade, I'm going to put some of that on now so that I can wipe away the fallout really quick. Oh man, that shade is pretty too. This palette is unreal. Also, like, take a look at this shade right here. I'll swatch it for you. It kind of has that same glittery effect as REM. It's so pretty, you guys. I literally could do an entire look inspired by just that shade right there. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to take a makeup wipe and wipe away any fallout under the eyes. Okay, let's move into complexion. So for the majority of my complexion, I'm going to be using Wander Beauty, which is another one of those brands that I feel like I have really enjoyed personally. I feel like it's getting a little more attention recently, but it still needs more in my opinion. I'm going to start off with the Wander Beauty Hidden Glow Brightening Cream. This is a moisturizer, but it also works really well as a glowy primer. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this all over the skin just to prep it for foundation. And then for foundation, of course, you guys probably could have guessed by now, I'm going to be using the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. I've been using this for over a year now. And you guys know, if you've watched my videos for long enough, how much I love this foundation. I have recommended it to so many people, and everybody that tries it loves it. And this is in the shade Fair Light. Just kind of drawing that all over the face. And then I'm going to blend it out with a foundation brush. This is a Luxie foundation brush. I don't know what's happening with this little hair back here. Oh well, that's why I do makeup tutorials, not hair tutorials. Okay, I'm just continuing to blend this out. I'm obsessed with how this foundation wears on my skin. It's one of the best wearing foundations out there in my opinion, and I have tried a lot of foundations. Okay, once I have it blended out, I'm going to take my beauty blender. Ooh, I realized I don't have a damp beauty sponge here, so hang on, let me grab one. Okay, I'm back, and I feel like the brush actually blended things out really nicely on its own. Let's see. I'm going to grab a tiny bit more foundation and just press it into the skin with the sponge. We're going full glam tonight, you guys. I feel like it's been a while since I've gone full out in a makeup look, and I'm already so into it. I'm really excited. Okay, I'm gonna use the Wander Beauty concealer. It's called the Duelist Concealer. Let's see, I'm gonna start with the matte side. This is in the shade Fair. I'm just gonna draw little lines under the eyes. I'm gonna draw a little bit down the center of the forehead and down the center of the nose. I'll use a little bit over blemishes. And then I'm just going to actually mix the illuminating concealer right over top of the under eye area. I'm just going to focus that mainly on like this portion of the face, something like that. And then I'm going to take my Real Techniques brush and just buff this out into the skin. Once I feel like it's blended out pretty well with the brush, I'm going to go back in with my sponge and just press that into the skin. Okay, we are going to set the entire face today. I'm going to use the Thrive Cosmetics Soft Focus HD Setting Powder. This is an amazing setting powder. I'm obsessed with it. So before I set anything, I'm just going to take my sponge and press out any concealer in the lines under my eyes. And then I'm just going to take that powder and press it into the skin. This powder is so good. It has hyaluronic acid in it, so it's like a hydrating setting powder, but it's not hydrating in the sense that it's not going to set your makeup. Like, it's going to set your makeup and make it last all day long. It's seriously amazing. It's been a while since I've set the entire face, but I'm going to today because I'm looking for that super airbrushed complexion. I've been using a lot less powder in my makeup routine recently, but there is a time and place for like a full-on set face, and today is that time. So here we are, setting the whole face with powder. Okay, at this point, I usually like to go back into the eyes, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be taking Deja Vu from that same Knobloch Dreamy 2 palette, and I'm going to start running this along the lower lash line. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here called Dionysus. I believe that's how you would say this. And this is going just on the outer third of that lower lash line. This shade is so pretty. I love it. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here called Mirabella. I'm just using the same brush. And I'm going to use that in this area of the under eye right here, just to kind of tie in that purpley blue that we have going on the top lid. I'm just taking a fluffy brush. This is actually what we used on the top lid with the Deja Vu shade, and I'm going back under everything and just kind of closely blending all of those shades together. I'm gonna try something. I normally do like a darker waterline with a look like this, which I might change to that, but I want to try this. This is the Knobloch Magic Pencil. It's really beautiful for the waterline. It's in the shade Nude. They have a few shades. Okay, I actually think that's going to be really nice. I love the tone of this nude pencil because it's not too stark, but it still opens the eyes. I think it's so pretty. I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to dip back into Lucid Dream, and I'm actually going to take a bit of setting spray after I get this on the brush, just to make sure that there's not too much fallout. And then I'm going to press that into the inner corner, and I'm actually going to drag it along that lower lash line just slightly. Next, I'm going to take the shade Offline on a really small brush. I'm going to tap off the extra and then run this super close to the lash line on just the outer third. Just to kind of intensify that a little bit more, and then also to connect it to the existing wing on the top lid. Okay, I really like this eye look a lot. I'm going to take the Wander Beauty Unlashed Volume and Curl Mascara for the lower lashes. I'm just trying to show you like a few more products from each brand. So that's why I'm using 2 mascaras in this tutorial, but you definitely could just use one. This looks so nice on the lower lashes. I love it. Okay, I am loving the eye look, you guys. I'm gonna take the powder brush that we were using before and just dust away any glitter fallout from that inner corner highlight. Okay, we're gonna move into bronzer. I'm gonna use my favorite from Thrive. I love this so much. It's their Sun Chaser Blur and Sculpt Bronzing Powder in the shade Rhea, and it is so pretty, you guys. I love this so much. You guys probably already know if you've watched my videos for a while. This is a huge favorite of mine. So I'm gonna take that and just gently start to build up some warmth all over the skin. So I like to go kind of along the hairline a little bit, obviously underneath the jaw. I mean cheekbones, you guys know what I mean. I'm gonna take a little bit down the sides of the nose and under the nose, under the lip, and now we're gonna take it along the jaw and then down the neck. This has a really nice undertone to where I feel like it sculpts the face beautifully, but also warms it up. I am gonna add a little bit more warmth with another product that I'm excited to tell you guys about, and we'll do that in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna warm up the face a little bit more with the Allie Cosmetics Brighten and Bronze Complexion Trio. Allie is another one of those brands that I feel like makes such top-notch quality products, but I don't feel like enough people talk about them. So I'm gonna mix both of these shades, Pale Wear and Cafe Con Leche, just to add a teensy bit more warmth to the skin. I'm gonna take a little bit of that across the nose. And then while we're at it, I'm gonna take the Rise and Grind Brightener. This is such a pretty product for just brightening up the under eye area. So I'm going to take that, and you can see it almost immediately. Just illuminate and brighten the center of the face. I'm going to put a little bit on the chin right here and a little in the center of the forehead to kind of brighten that too. Okay, so these next palettes are probably some of the most underrated palettes in the makeup industry. They are also from Allie Cosmetics. I love these so much. They have blush trios. This is the Colorete Blush Trio, and this is the shade Fair Light right here. I originally purchased just this one, but then I loved it so much that I purchased the medium to tan version of the palette too. I get so much use out of both. These are my favorite blushes to travel with. Honestly, you guys, they're so incredible. I cannot even say enough good things about them. Let's decide what shade we should use. Definitely this one. This is like my favorite one. This is called Paraíso in the Fair Light palette. We'll start there. I'm just going to smile and add this to the apples of the cheeks. Guys, you have no idea. This formula is to die for. I'm obsessed with it. Okay, so we have that color on. Gosh, I love that color alone, but maybe we should layer one more? Oh no, I accidentally scraped it. No, darn it. Okay, well, let's mix Isla and Seclusion from the medium to tan palette, and we'll just do a tiny bit of that right on top. Because why pick just one blush color, am I right? I wanted to showcase a couple of other cheek products from M Cosmetics, which is another brand that I think makes amazing products and deserves so much more attention. They have these Magic Hour blushes that are baked and beautiful, and they have a little bit of a glowy sheen to them. This one right here is, wait, no, they're Heaven's Glow blushes. Did I say that? Anyway, they're called Heaven's Glow blushes. This is the shade Magic Hour right here, and this one's the shade Faded Clementine. I think I'm actually gonna mix both of them and kind of apply it toward the back of the cheeks just to create a little bit more of like a bronzy, peachy radiance. Maybe I'll bring it up on the face a little bit as well. These are gorgeous, and I could not just pick one blush product to feature out of these brands, so I wanted to make sure just to kind of shout these out a little bit because they are so beautiful as well. For highlighter, I'm obsessed with these from Knobloch. These are the Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powders. I feel like I get the most use out of this shade right here. This is called Privilege. So let's start with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and take a highlighter brush and just start lightly building this up on the face, We're going full glam. So even though I'm building this up, I'm not going to be shy with it. I'm going to continue to build it up in light layers until I get a pretty intense glow. This is so pretty because it has a little bit of a pinky undertone to it, which I love. I'm going to pop some of that down the center of the face as well, right here, and on the Cupid's bow. And we'll take what's left and just kind of dust it underneath the brows. Maybe I'll take a tiny bit of the shade Truth, which is a beautiful rosy pink color, and I'm just going to add that really lightly right here on the cheeks. So we have super glass skin looking cheeks. I know we just used like 5 different products as blush, but oh well. This look is a little bit extra. Okay, I'm just taking my sponge to press that down a little bit. And I feel like when I use my sponge after a powder highlight, it just melts it into the skin and makes it look super dewy and like it's a part of your face. Or it gives you like that lit from within kind of a glow. I'm going to go ahead and remove any foundation that's on the lips. Okay, I'm going to use the Knobloch Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Dolce. I'm going to line and fill in the lips with this. Wow, this lip liner matches that eye look so good. This is such a pretty color. I'm going to go ahead and use the Knobloch Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Chloe. It's a really pretty kind of pinky beige matte lipstick. So I'm going to apply that and then blend it into the lip liner with my finger. And then I'm going to go into the Cosmetics True Gloss in the shade Secret Blush. These are incredible glosses. This formula is seriously amazing. I'm just going to focus that on the center of the lips and then take my finger and kind of dab it out. Okay, I'm just stepping back and assessing the situation. I'm going to take what's left on that eyeshadow brush and just buff it out a little bit more. I just don't want this line here to be too harsh from the bright under eye into the eyeshadow. So I'm just kind of trying to create a little bit more of a gradient there. I'm taking what's left on the blush brush, which is like 7 products. And I'm just taking that across the cheeks one more time. I do feel like we could touch up the brows at this point. So I'm going back to the brows and just filling those in a little bit more. As always, I'm going to add a bit more bronzer, just with whatever's left on the bronzer brush. I actually feel like I want a teensy bit more highlighter, so I'm just going to take whatever's left on the brush and really just buff it into the skin to warm the product into the skin a little bit more to make it look even more skin-like. Like I said, we're just going extra today. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set the face. I'm going to be using the Wander Beauty Glow Getter Mist. I'm going to give it a good shake before I spray. I'm going to focus this on the outer portion of the face because there's a little bit of oil in it, so it's a little bit more dewy. Just like that. I'm going to let it kind of sink into the skin a little bit. I recently found my handy fan, which I had lost in my beauty room, so I'm going to use that again. And once things are almost dry, I'm just going to take my sponge and press everything into the skin one more time. My last step is always brow gel. I'm going to use the Cosmetics Micro Fluff Brow Cream. This is an incredible product that I have been obsessed with. This is the shade Brunette. I'm just going to use that to set the brows. Alright you guys, so that completes this makeup look. I am so in love with how it turned out. It really goes to show you that these brands are definitely worth checking out if you have not already. I feel like this was a really fun video for me to do because there are so many makeup brands out there, and I feel like a lot of the bigger brands get so much attention consistently, and some of these other brands need just as much love, if not more recognition, because they make incredible products that are inspiring. The formulas are so good. I mean, I feel gorgeous in this makeup, and it's because of these amazing brands. So again, I will have all the products and these specific brand websites linked down below so you can support them directly. I will definitely be making a part 2 of this video because there are other brands that I really want to showcase as well. Well, like I was saying before, I think it's really important to kind of give a few brands attention at a time just so it's not overwhelming and so I can really show you guys a lot of my favorite products at once. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Hopefully you guys got excited about some of these brands if there's some that you haven't ever heard of before. Yeah, I just love all these brands and they are my tried and true and I've been using them for years now. So I would actually love to know in the comments if there's a brand that you feel like needs more attention. Feel free to leave that below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it from me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.